Derek Olson, do you think you should do all your gun range training with your wife and have her put equal rounds down range? I have not had my wife go shooting with me this year because she is pregnant, but the last couple of years I would use the ammo prices as an excuse, but I will not think like that anymore next year. I will invest in getting her training. Derek, unfortunately, the ammo prices are not low like they used to be. Should you train your wife? Yes. In the last 10 years, Amanda has fired way more. Well, I haven't fired any rounds in the last 10 years. Amanda is trained up. Amanda has training. She will take more training. The kids have training. Has Amanda fired more rounds than I have? No, nowhere near it. But Amanda has probably trained more. I would be willing to say Amanda has fired more rounds in the last 10 years than, I'm looking to see who's here. Probably Scott Whitner here. Oh, I thought that was Wexler.
I think there's a stat that
Amanda's fired more rounds than most of the people asking questions in this group right here. I promise that. Cody has fired more rounds than all of them. I thought that was Wexler. If it was Wexler, I was going to say Wexler's fired more rounds than you. But I don't see Wexler on here. What were you going to say?
Matt is on there.
Matt. Yeah, Max. Max has fired more rounds.
I was going to say, there's some stat floating around. I think it's for every gun that's in America, it's like 2.5 bullets were shot out of it or something like that. So most people
I wonder where that came from.
Yeah.
I wonder where that came from. Yeah, absolutely, man. Especially if your wife will train. Fucking take advantage of that, man.
Well, and
who has your kids more often, your wife or you?
That's what I was going to say. Like, who do you think is going to be the protector of your children?
And
because more than likely, if something happens, God forbid, you're not going to be there, and it's going to be up to her to protect those children. So why not invest in as much ammo, as much range time, whatever it is that she needs to provide that level for her so she can do that adequately.
Now, when you say training together, you can't train your wife.
Yeah, you can't teach her to shoot.
And the instructor might say the exact same words. You could do it off the same script, right? She's not going to listen to you. It's just, that's not how it's going to happen. If I want to teach her how to ride, she can ride a motorcycle. But when I was teaching her to ride a motorcycle,
oh man, it was not good.
I'm like,
I'm super resistant.
Finally, I'm like, here, bitch.
Figure it the fuck
out, because it's the only way you're getting home. I'll meet you at home. Like, I was done. I'm like, I'll fucking kill you right here. I'll come back for the bike. Like, yeah, you can't teach. You can't teach her, man. Let somebody else teach her. That's the thing, man. And it could be the goofiest mother, but she's going to listen to him because it's not you. And if you can't sell her on firearms training, right? If you can't do that, then you married the wrong bitch. Go get a different one. But if you can't, at least get her medical training, man. At least get her medical training. And watch, I don't know, what's that? Is the Grey's Anatomy still around, or ER? Go watch any of those things, because she'll think she knows everything then. And then you can send her to go learn it, right?
Well, and I mean, he's like, I've always used this excuse. So that tells me that she is at least interested in the past.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think she wants to.
So, number one, send her to a training class. Then you guys can go to the range together, and she can show you how to really shoot.
I got a girl working here that's been with us off and on for a decade.
Yeah.
And she's just got this thing in her head that she doesn't like guns. But she's starting to ask questions about guns. And I was going to say, I've got a dude, Dakota. That's who I would put with her. I would have Dakota take her out and shoot. And she's like, I don't know if I want a guy to shoot. I'm like, Amanda will take you. And I heard her talking to Amanda.
Yeah.
I don't know why if anybody's had an interest in her learning how to shoot, I don't know why they haven't put a pellet gun in her hand, right? We could go out there.
Shit, get a Nerf gun.
A pellet gun, an airsoft gun. Like any of those are great entries to teach people to shoot. My kids had BB guns before they could even fucking cock the BB gun. I used to have to cock the BB gun for Sebastian and Dakota and Cody, everybody, man. Just get them shooting. BB guns, fucking airsoft, Nerf, whatever it is, right? We used to play war. We used to play cowboys and Indians, and it is by design. It is not just by chance that they've made this literally illegal at your kid's school or daycare to play these games, right? It is to demasculate. It is to take your own ability of self-defense away from you and put it in the hands of other people, because then you're moldable. You have to rely on somebody else. And they do not want citizens to be self-reliant. The government can only exist if you need the government. And that's how they've sold this to everybody. So, and I mean, even if you can't, well, we can't shoot guns in the backyard. Get a fucking BB gun. Get a BB gun. Get a quiet BB gun. Get a bow and arrow. Whatever. Do whatever you have to do. I don't have them up right now. We were buying 3D targets because I was going to set up a walking 3D target. It's a mile and a quarter. You're going to walk across the motocross track, walk down it, and just shoot targets with your bow at different ranges. And we bought a bunch of targets. I had one sitting out front. I could literally open the front door of the shop, shoot over the Porsche, over the fence, and drop these arrows into this deer out there. The dogs chewed one of the targets up. I need to put them back out. But just do things that are fun, but also ingrain those habits.
I'm still waiting on a dinosaur target.
They're $5,000.
I don't care.
Then you better make more money with your beanies. Bitch.
I wanted to say something about I'm using an excuse that it costs too much. What I did with my wife was say, yeah, this costs a lot of money, and that's why sometimes I don't train as much as I want to. But as soon as you're ready, money isn't going to be a concern.
I took it that she wants to train and he didn't want to because of the money.
That could be it.
So get something extra out of it. That thing you like her to do that she'll only do for you on your birthday, get more of that, whatever that is.
But yeah, so she got everything she needed when she started training, and now she wants us to train together. So now...
now you can.
Yeah, like in her mind, she wants me to come. So in my mind, I have to spend money on myself to go because she wants...
Yeah, it can't be the first few classes. Send her to fighting pistol, send her to fighting rifle, then do fighting rifle with her. Tell the instructors, hey, we've both done... They're going to know. The instructors are going to know who you are. Hey, we're coming to this fourth class, and I want to operate as a team as though we would at home. So when you're shooting and moving and communicating, you're doing that together as a team. How old are the girls?
6 and 3.
6 and 3. So you still got a little ways. The youngest kid to take fighting pistol was Cody. The youngest kid to take fighting rifle was Cody at 11. The youngest kid to take fighting pistol was Cody at 9. There has been several kids who have gone through at age 6 now.
So the first thing that she said to me when she got back from fighting pistol is she wants the girls to do it when they can. And that was like a new concept for me because I protect them, and I protect them so much that they don't know that I know anything about guns.
Where are they right now?
Yeah, well, no, you're right.
Because I don't see them here.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm like, that's settling with me that we have to tell them that bad shit might happen, and this is how you prepare for it.
You have to, man. Yeah. Stranger danger.
Exactly.
Fucking, what happens when one of the girls wants to go to the bathroom at I don't know, what's Rural school. King, at Rural King, right? Yeah. They don't go to school, they homeschool.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's been removed, right? So that makes them even more vulnerable, right? So it is on you to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they're teaching kids at school. I heard a number yesterday, 80,000 kids per month are abducted in the United States. It might have been per week. Like, the number is fucking absolutely insane.
Yeah.
They're grabbing, like, we know they're driving around parking lots. Yeah. Identifying and putting magnetic fucking identification on vehicles. As they leave the parking lot, other people come in and start watching those vehicles that are marked, waiting for those people to come up. They are fucking snatching up children and women as they're loading groceries and stuff.
They are putting Apple iTags on people's cars and following them home.
So we have to have those conversations now. The kids have to be comfortable with the conversation. And they're going to be comfortable with what you're comfortable teaching them.
Yeah.
We have to.
So that's where I was at. Like this week, I was thinking about that. Is it time to get her like a 10/22 or something? And I don't think this year.
The kids, no. But you need to have the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if somebody tries to grab you, you scream as loud as you can. You kick them. You bite them. You stab them with a pencil.
Yeah.
You try to kill them when somebody grabs a hold of you. When somebody grabs you, you yell and make as big a scene as possible. Nobody is going to, mom is never going to send a friend to come get you. Mom doesn't have any friends that are going to be involved with you. And your job is to try to kill them when they get a hold of you. If you fucking stab a motherfucker with a pencil trying to grab some fucking child, somebody is going to know about it. Yeah. And if you teach your 3-year-old that right now, that needs to happen.
Yeah.
They need to have that in their head, because when she's 4, there's going to be escalation to that. And when she's 5, right? Put those kids in fucking jujitsu right fucking now.
Yeah, so we're looking into that for sure, because she wants karate, but she doesn't know anything. Well, she doesn't know.
Who wants karate?
The 6-year-old.
Perfect. Tell her, hey, this is karate.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm going to say. Like, she just knows general.
Yeah, she needs fucking combat martial art. Why are we not fucking putting that in school? Why does that not exist?
I completely agree. I think that there should still be like shooting teams and stuff.
Yeah, my mom had archery team and fucking rifle in Kearney Mesa in fucking San Diego. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
They don't want you to be a well-rounded
They do not.
being. They want you to be able to pass a test.
Yeah,
that is it.
It's because they are molding people to pass tests. They're not to be educated. It's just to have just to know. They're teaching you to take tests. We still have trap and skeet here. We have a great program at several of these schools here and in Paris. A fucking wonderful program. Our FFA program is fucking amazing. We still teach kids to work with wood. We teach kids how to weld. We sent Cody did that in high school and junior high school, so much so we sent him to tech school. He was competing in all kinds of machining. He went and worked in a machining place, running CNC machines and brakes and fucking laser cutters and shit. And then he made his way back here.
You were talking about they teach you to take a test. I heard a quote a few years ago, and it's always stuck with me. School doesn't teach you how to think; they teach you what to think.
Absolutely.
And that's why they take that stuff out. Where
you
have to think for yourself to run a CNC machine.
Well, and think about like when I was in high school, we had wood shop, you had auto shop, you had home ec, you had all these life skills, right? Yep. And now you don't have anything. I mean, we had health classes where they taught you how to take care of a baby.
This should be all you need to know. Your school doesn't teach you to balance a checkbook, and it doesn't teach you how to use an Excel program, right? There's kids in 5th grade that know how to use Excel programs because their parents taught them. They can't have you putting an Excel program together because you're going to know that, okay, I'm going to go take this class. I'm going to take this loan out. This is going to cost this much. I'm going to pay this loan for the next 20 years. And I'm not even going to start working in the job field till I'm 30 years old. If you taught kids how to figure that out, they would know that the system is bullshit. So what are they teaching you? They teach you from grades 1 through 5 that you have to finish high school, which is 8 through 12, right? 6th, 7th was middle school where I went to school. 8 through 12 was high school. What do they teach you all through high school? They teach you that you need to go to college for 4 years. What do they teach you also? If you really want to be successful, you have to go to college for 4 years and then go do other classes for several more years again, right? Doctor, lawyer, prestige.
I think when I was getting out of high school, that was at the height of that. And people didn't even consider an associate's degree as a college degree. You needed a bachelor's or a master's.
Dude, think about this. If you want to be a veterinarian, my aunt runs an equine fucking veterinary program, Texas A&M. Like, she's the fucking horse doctor, right? Okay, we're dealing with multi-million-dollar animals. Why does a fucking veterinarian have to go to fucking college and then go to fucking anatomy school and learn human anatomy before they fucking touch an animal, right? Yeah. Wouldn't you be better off putting a 15-year-old at a fucking vet clinic? Hey, suture this up. This is how we do staples. Hey, we're going to fucking castrate this fucking bull today. We're going to do, hey, we're running a clinic where you can come in and get your nuts chopped off for, $20. We're going to do 100 fucking cats and dogs today. Do I really need? I mean, there's kids fucking castrating bulls out in the fucking field. They literally slice the nutsack, pull it out with a fucking rusty pocket knife, and that's the end of it. They don't even suture the fucking nutsack up. Do we really need, would you be better off working for 10 years with an actual vet rather than going to school all these years and not even touch a fucking animal? By the time you're done, you might not even want to do it.
Exactly.
Watch one, do one, teach one. Every fucking platoon, they sit in a circle. How do you learn how to do IVs, right? You watch one, you do one, and then you teach one. One's done to you, and then you do it. You sit in a circle, right? Round robin that shit.
Yeah.
But They
That
can't
sounds
make
terrible.
money on that. They can't. Why is the only fucking thing, literally the only thing that you can't fucking charge off, right? You can't, when you file bankruptcy,
Student loan.
is a goddamn student loan.
Yeah.
Who fucking secures that motherfucker? They need you slaves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I want the fucking, when there's a stop sign and fucking stuck through both sides of my body, yeah, I think I'd like that dude to have been to some fucking medical school. But to give me sutures, just close the motherfucker up. I don't have 3 hands. That's why I'm not doing it myself.
That's a huge thing for me is they don't teach kids about money, and those kids who they didn't teach back then are now the parents.
Yes.
So the parents can't teach kids about money, and it's really hard to go through life not knowing how to use money properly.
How many times, well, you're not there yet, right? Yeah. And I haven't really, because I know about it, I don't think I've experienced it, right? But how many times do kids come home and they tell their parent something and the parent just doesn't believe it because they don't know it, right? Or times have changed, right? I'm not using one of them fancy cell phones. When Cody walked in here and he's like, hey, I just bought a laser. I'm like, cool, what are we doing with it? And then I watched what he was doing and I'm like, all right, what's the big laser cost, right? What's it going to do for us, right? Because I'm like, fuck, I spent thousands of dollars sending him to school for this. He knows, he's like, I can program it. Can you program it? Or is this just something you're saying, right? Well, yeah, he can clearly program this motherfucker, right? Okay, so what's the limitations? $10,000 laser, $60,000 laser. And it's never, every time I do this, I buy this $10,000 thing, I find out I need $20,000 more worth of shit before I can use the $10,000 thing. But I mean, that's what we're looking at these lasers, and what will it do? What will it not do? What do we get for 50,000 versus 10? Are we better off getting the 10 right now, putting it to use? So, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're looking at those things.
So that's like a huge thing for me, because I've always been about, even if you can't afford what you're trying to do, just do it the way you can and just get going, you know? But lately, I think it's because I'm able to afford things more now. I'm all about, yes, let's get going and let's do this, but let's get the right shit first.
Okay, let me put it, let's look at it this way, okay? I say this all the time, and I use this as an analogy because I watched it happen so many times. Strider knives. Dwayne's like, let's get a building. I'm like, cool. So we got a building. I didn't realize that meant you get a building and I'll come fucking squat in the, he didn't. I mean, he paid some. Yeah. But the first knives, I went to Dwayne's house with him in the garage. We went to Home Depot. We bought some 2-inch wide stock, right? And what we're making is a template. So he cut the knife out into just the shape, cut it off with a chop saw. From the chop saw, went to the bandsaw, terrible dust, complete mess. You got to wear a respirator and shit. Now he's got a template. And we do it with the cheap metal. And then we take a metal scribe and we put blue contractor layout fluid all over the expensive metal, which looks just like the 2-inch wide metal. And now you scratch in it, right? So that gives us our we can reproduce that template over and over and over. You could do it with a paint stick, but eventually the paint is going to change, right? It's not going to be duplicatable. So we cut off as much as we can with the chop saw and get as much removed. Now we got to go to the bandsaw and get all the places we couldn't get with the chop saw. And then you're going to put your bevel on there with the bandsaw, with the belt grinder, right? You're going to use, like we used Burr Kings. There's a ton of cool, I almost bought they had this badass black and red grinder. I don't even want to fucking make knives. I just want this. It's so cool. It's red anodized. It's beautiful at Blade Show.
And I totally co-sign all of his bullshit. I'm like, of course you need that. You totally need that.
But here's where I'm going with this. Okay, so you make all these knives. It's dirty. It's filthy. You got to build your name up. It's like you can be a rapper, but till you've been shot up, you're not going to be a good rapper, right? You got to get shot up getting the rap game, like Terry Crews said in that movie. You got to get shot up and get in this rap game. That's the make a knife thing. You have to do it the dirty, shitty way. And once you have a name for yourself, you're now building enough knives that you can't keep up doing them in that manner. So you shop machine shops. So in the day, like water jet's still really probably the best way to do it. So you're like, okay, I'll get a water jet machine. A water jet machine fucking destroys itself. It fucking cuts itself to pieces. It's expensive. It's a mess. Okay, wire EDM. So we're going to use electricity and cut this shit. Cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Laser, terrible slag. We used laser for a long time. There was a lot of cleanup on laser. Went back to water jet. And there might even be some shit out there, I don't know now. But so to put the blade profile, and you could do it all with a CNC machine. But a CNC machine used to be a mystery, right? There were 3-axis machines, 4-axis, 5-axis machines. I watched Mike from Key Bar parting out key bars. And then all of a sudden one day he just fucking learned how. He teamed up with a dude that was doing CNC machines who Mike became very good friends with. And this dude passed away. And Mike's like, fuck, what am I going to... Well, Mike learned how to build this shit, right? Over a period of weeks, he learned how to work these fucking CNC machines, lasers. We met Mike. Mike walked up to us at SHOT Show. He's like, hey, man, I love your stuff. Here's my thing. I'm like, dude, these are fucking badass, right? Yeah. I'm like, what are you going to do with it? He's like, and he was kind of like...
Him and Han.
I'm like, dude, you have something here that's really something, right? Look at Mike now. Look at Key Bar now. He has parts, I want to say, in Lowe's and Home Depot.
Yeah, because I remember...
Amazing fucking craftsman.
Seeing him like through videos start, and now you see that stuff everywhere.
Mike wanted to do stickers, so he bought a plotter and made his own stickers. Mike needed a vehicle wrap, so he bought a bigger plotter, wrapped his own. He's like, fuck it, we'll do it. We'll just do it, right? We're gonna fucking do this.
Yeah.
So the knife guys, once you've done all that bullshit and you bought all that equipment that you're not gonna really use anymore, now you're just have somebody else building your shit, right? We go up here to Palmer's. I have Crucible Steel or US Steel or whoever, Hitachi, fucking drop off 4x8 sheets. They put them on their water jet. Here's my program. Cut me a template of these fucking things. I'm going to get 72 out of the sheet, right? So I think 72 was the mat, depending on the size of the knife. And we're not even building folders. Like, are you really even a knife maker if you don't build folders? DSK, you want to see a fucking amazing craftsman? Look at DSK. Strider Knives, look at fucking Mick and them. Look Josh Lee and those guys. Look what they're building, right? Dwayne Dwyer, look at those guys. You want to see fucking true artists. Desert Blade Works, that kid. And that motherfucker, I don't even know if he made a fucking fixed blade knife before he made knives. He was working for a company making Damascus, and I think he still works with a company making Damascus. But the point is, once you've got this name, you don't even have to build these knives anymore. Somebody cuts them out. You take the templates. You sharpen them. They're already beveled. You send them to somebody else to paint them. You send them over here to get laser done on them. We built the sheaths. We were building the sheaths 1,000 at a time for Strider. They just put them in there. Now, Mick was making the Kydex that went in them, right? Yeah. But Strider doesn't make knife sheaths now. Why would they? They're good at what they do, but they don't have to do all the dirty work. So I think it's important to learn to do it because you're going to learn if you want to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it gets easier from there. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, right? If you look at Mike, when Mike started doing laser and stuff, Mike's working with dissimilar metals, right? He's able to put two different kind of metals together to make a piece that is a single piece. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like a bronze blade and a Damascus handle. I mean, he's like, it looks like he's fucking milling this out and putting this other piece of metal inside it. Like, he's just taking, like, when you look at Mike from Key Bar's work right now, and all these guys, like, every time I see something come out of Strider's shop, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, when I saw him make the first Damascus, I asked Jeremy, Jeremy walked, I go, dude, look at this. Is this real or is this photoshopped? He's like, no, bro, it looks just like that. I'm like, I have to have one of those. I couldn't buy a normal knife from Strider, much less some Damascus that he or she made, right? Yeah. Because she made, like, when she made that first knife, I bought the one Mick made, the very first one, and I bought the next two she made. She did a collaboration with Doc Schiffer, and I had to fucking have it, right? And I wore it, and I used them, and I have them in my case, and that's the modern day Michelangelo, right? Yeah. That is the modern day Da Vinci. And now there's guys doing all kinds of stuff that aren't on your radar, but those are people I had access to, and to watch them. And now you look at them today compared to 5 years ago, it's just incredible what the technology has done. Plus just the refinement. Like when I told Mick, and we're talking about Mick Strider, when I told Mick, I'm like, Mick, I want some bumpers for the Blazer, that if there's traffic on the interstate, I want to be able to hit the K-rail, and I want the bumper to deflect and bounce the truck up enough that the front wheels will grab, and then I want that momentum to slide forward on the bars underneath the truck, right? We're not using steps, though. We're using real sliders, that it will pivot forward, catch the back wheels. I want to be able to drive over a K-rail with my Chevy Blazer. And he's like, I got you. We never did try to drive over a K-rail, but Matt and I and Scully and I, several different times, we were in riverbeds, and we were going down these riverbeds. I mean, it's so tight. Like, we're literally, the tires are making the riverbed wider on both sides of the truck. And you touch the ground out here, right? So it's like fucking 4 feet tall. We're just going through this riverbed miles, and then it ends. And like, that means you got to drive backwards.
Yeah.
And that means you're breathing all those gas fumes for miles. So we just back up a little bit, gas it, and it hits that front bumper with the skid plate, bounces the front up, the tires grab, and it pulls us up, and we're on flat ground now. Like, it worked.
Yeah.
Mick built that shit just out of his fucking head. When Mick came home from prison, he started building, like, I'd never been around dudes that weld. I knew dudes that said they welded, and I knew guys that, like, kind of, like, Lance made some cool bumpers, but as soon as the first time somebody hit my bumper, it fell off in the street on the Cherokee. So he's just a craftsman. Like, I watch, like, Mick built motorcycles literally from nothing. There wasn't anything there. He just got this piece of metal and this piece of metal. And like, people don't realize that. Yeah. Mick could stop and do anything. Dwayne, he could stop and just those guys that can do one thing can do all things. Like, you just don't realize it. If they might not want to, because they're comfortable where they are. And I don't mean these guys. I mean, typically a dude that does something well can do a lot of things well.
Yeah, and it's what they decide that they want to do is the thing that they really want to do. So it's going to look.
What we do is usually not what we want to do.
Yeah,
it's usually not.
But like those guys, like if he wanted to make a motorcycle, that was going to be the best motorcycle there was because he wanted to do that. I think he's made
like 4 of them.
Yeah, really? He's made several.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And they look like some shit. Like, they don't look like a motorcycle you see in a shop. Like. Yeah. Like, it's some shit like Kid Rock be like, yo, bro, build me a motorcycle.
Well, that's because he can actually put his craftsmanship into it.
Absolutely.
And it's not an issue of budget or money or what the market will bear, because it's not for anyone.
Like, when we bring a product to market, it's hit it, quit it, on to the next thing. When I build something, you'll see me build fucking 10 of them within a day or 2-3 days, right? But you'll never see me build it again. Once we get it where we want it. And there's a lot of times, Scully will tell you this too, especially working with guys like Mick and stuff. We can do better. Like, I find myself saying that. I might not vocalize it all the time, but when they ask me, I usually don't like, hey, we can do better. Yeah. When we bring a product to market, Cody's like, what do you think of this? I go, we can fucking do better. Oh, this is rad. We can do better. What would you change? And then I start asking him, like, what would you change? Because he brings a different set of skills than I have, working in different mediums, right? And he can I just build shit, and then I have to figure out how to make it so other people can build it. Yeah. Where Cody can set out a set of plans, right? I'm going to do the mad scientist shit. Cody be like, hey, we need to get this, and no, fuck that. We're gonna let's see if this even works, right? But he can present it. But a lot of times we build something and we can do better, and we can do better, and we can do better. By the time we're done, we are out of the market. Yeah. Like, our customer base won't buy it, right? Exactly. That's why, like, you see me auction the things I build, because we can't build them in the shop. We couldn't build 20 of these. So it's just that balance. It's that balance of labor.
Completely, because that's a creative thing. And like I was saying before, you're never going to be 100% happy with something that you made, because you feel like you could do a little bit better.
Well, and that's the story behind the micro rig. So we have all these cool big, warfighter rigs, but not everybody needs that. So we're going to come to market with something that the average Joe is going to be comfortable buying and having.
The micro rig was originally a $55 rig.
But once you start putting all the options onto it, it quickly increases in value, and you can't charge $55.
Sherman House, Dr. Sherman House, Chris Barrett owns Barrett Firearms, and Drew, who worked for Chris Barrett, were at a barbecue place. We were getting ready to come out here on a Thursday. It was Sunday night or Monday night. Sherman drew this shit out on a napkin. And,
on a bar napkin.
and texted me photos of it. And he's like, this is what I want. And we didn't call it a micro rig to start with. He just wanted a small rig, right? So originally what I built him was 2 Rallyman pockets, which would carry 6 M4 mags or 4 AK mags, but they had adjustable lids, so they do both mags well. We still build those rigs. We still build those pockets.
Yeah.
We've built those pockets 10 years even before that. And then a 6x6 zippered utility pocket. But to build that rig, and I built a couple of them, brought it out. I think Chris has one. I think Sherman has one. And I think James got one, right? I think there was 3 of them. We came into the team room. Here you go. I think they were OD in black. But to build those rigs, they were going to cost $120 or whatever. So I knew I wanted a price point at 55. And we put the first 100 out at $55, but I built a simple pocket set. It was good enough. We could definitely do better, but it was good enough. See, all those guys building those mesh vests for the last decade, all the zip-up mesh vests, we didn't build those till we were really rolling. We built those to hit a market for the guys that would only buy those mesh vests. They had it in their head. They didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Every time sniper school would start, they would grab those mesh vests and they would go, okay, you're the shooter, you're the spotter, you just got shot, grab your guy by his drag handle if he's got one and drag him back to the truck. 100 feet maybe. Those drag handles would rip off because they're sewn on mesh. Yeah, they would rip off every time.
Yeah.
Guys would come in, and it's always there. It was always a wave of them, right? There was always 6 to 10 Marines. No. At the gun shows where I'm going, 6 to 10 of they walk around in packs, but there's always the asshole. Why should I buy this rig for $250? I can get that one for $60. I'm like, because if you hang this up, and we took a dip and chin up bar to the gun shows with us with some carabiners, and we would hang our rig on there, and I go, here's why you're going to pay me $250. And I'd pick the 2 biggest dudes. I'm like, you get these 2 pockets, and you over here get these 2 pockets. So there's 2 dudes
on the same rig.
The same rig hanging up. And I go, now do pull-ups on this. I go, now go over there and do that with that one, right?
Just
you
ask
couldn't.
them if you can.
They wouldn't let you. Like, you could literally walk up, and Blackhawk, Eagle, stuff like that. Eagle was definitely better. But it's the manner, because nobody's going to do that. It doesn't have to hold that load that way. It only has to hold 1 magazine. Yeah. But that's how we sold them, right? Those pockets were single layer Cordura. Eventually that magazine is going to wear out. Now today, that bag right there has single layer Cordura, because you're not going to use that bag long enough for it to wear out. Yeah. Right? It's a bag. You're going to carry it around and hope you never need the shit in it. But back then, we were building shit for the end of the world. And that's what Scully was talking about on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He's like, when we have to defend the homeland, you're going to go find a rig that John made 20 years ago, because the rigs that we're building, that everybody's building right now, that's expendable gear. It doesn't come home from the combat zone. It doesn't do a deployment. Every operation, they throw that shit away. It's not even 500 denier Cordura. It's like 300 or less now. It's super, super light. It's expendable. Our pockets, when we built our Rallyman pocket CQB patrol pockets, they're not a piece of material that's the back and the lid and then the sides, separate pieces. They started as a large piece of material with a secondary piece of material that lines it, and then it folds in, and then it kicks 45 degrees. So where the mags touch bottom, there's 6 layers of Cordura. Where the mags are sewn on the rig, there's 9 layers of material where the magazines sew together. Those pockets are pockets before they ever get sewn on the panel. Yeah. When they get sewn on the panel, they're sewn when the pockets get closed, there's 5 lines of stitching. When they get sewn on the vest, on the rig, there's another 5 lines of stitching. They're never going to fail. When guys are like, hey man, I've had this belt, I had this rigger's belt for 20 years, I had this wallet for 10 years. Your grandkids are going to have it. Short of you, like the only stuff we see destroyed. Now we got this influx of guys like, my dog chewed my belt up, and it literally looks like you cut it with scissors. Yeah. And by the way, while you're fixing it, can you make it 4 sizes bigger? There's a lot of that, right? But these rigs, you're never going to destroy these, short of boat prop, fire, bullet holes. We've had gear come in with bullet holes, been on fire.
Yeah, I mean, even if with the bullet holes, you can fix that because it's cloth.
Yeah, you don't need to fix it.
You don't need to fix it. It seared it on its way out.
That's true.
Like we get dudes, if you shoot off of the bag, the muzzle brake will fucking just shred material, right?
Yeah.
We've seen that. I've even had it happen myself. I've shot off a bag and destroyed it with an M14. I got to pee real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we break?
Yeah, I was just thinking I should have.
Trying to tear us down, but me and my team, the last of a dead breed, you can't kill us, we move.